Well, hey there. Welcome to day 1168 of What You Up To Now. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, documenting my journey as I transition from the brick and mortar corporate world of business to the online world of business, and making some shifts and tweaks and changes and pivots, the new word from 2020. Everybody's pivoting, but to me it's just changes over the course of 2021. Working with an offline coach and an online coach, and for a long time, I've always believed that people should have an online presence. If you've got an offline business, a brick and mortar real business, you need to have some kind of an online presence. And 2020 absolutely positively blew that out of the water in terms of people understanding why that was important. You used to have to convince people it was important, but now everybody in the world, for the most part, knows. So how do you make that happen? And then how do you make that shift to what's really right for you? Because some people do amazingly well just being 100% online. Other people do better having a combination. And some of us have actually performed better offline than we do online. Why is that? That's the question and the dilemma I'm exploring over the last couple of years and continuing forward. And that's why I have an offline coach and an online coach, because I've been trying to merge the two worlds and figure out what's right for me for a couple of years on my own, and played with different things, tried a whole lot of different things, mastered a couple of things, failed miserably at several things, and still haven't landed on what is the exact right thing for me, with the exception, of course, of challenges. Because even before I came online, I was successfully doing a lot of different challenges in a lot of different areas and aspects of my life. So when 2020 hit, and before even, I've been doing challenges since I came online, but specifically in 2020, it's like, all right, I need to really hone in on and do challenges, because that's the way I can give back and add value, and I can get up and go and keep moving, and I can bring people right along with me. So we are actually on day 10 of the our seventh 30 plus day get up and go challenge. Started it last April was the first, a year ago, April exactly, was the first 30 plus day challenge. And then we did a 45 day challenge, because I was challenged by a group of entrepreneurs to do a 45 day challenge right as we came out of April, and in June to July, when people were sort of shocked by the fact that we were still being impacted and shut down by COVID-19 restrictions. Now here we are a year later, a little over a year later, into April again, and many areas are opening up a little bit. There's a vaccine. Some people are getting it, some people aren't. But for the most part, for example, my daughter and son-in-law were going to go fishing with a friend today, and they found out yesterday afternoon that his coworker, who he rode around in the truck all day in, had tested positive for COVID. So now, fishing trip, they'll probably still go kayaking and fishing, but they can't go with their one friend, or their friend will have to stay 30 feet away from them and drive himself and everything. So it's crazy times that we still live in, and it's up to each and every one of us to figure out how to navigate it for ourselves. They have a new baby, they've got a 2-month-old, so they have to be careful. They can't just expose themselves or old grandma to COVID-19. So how do we, and that leads me to my question today. My big question today is, who do you listen to? Who do you listen to with respect to your business, your life, anything? Is it your parents, your friends, your kids? I listen to my kids on a lot of stuff. One of my coaches that I'm following this year, I learned about from my son. Had he not been exposed to him and following him and listening to him, I probably would have missed him on my radar maybe for another 5 years and never even decided that this was somebody that and that's my offline coach, that I wanted to listen to, that I wanted to learn from, because he's got incredible experience and actual hands-on doing it experience. There's such a proliferation of coaches online right now, it kind of makes me a little nauseous. There is a coach for absolutely anything and everything you can ever imagine. Unfortunately, I would say 90+% of the people that are coaching other people have not successfully done the thing they're coaching on. It's kind of like going to a financial planner that is broke. Do you know that the majority of financial planners are absolutely dead broke? All the guys that work for Edward Jones, they're not multimillionaires. If you want to be a multimillionaire or whatever you want to be successful financially, you have to find somebody who's already been there, done that, and is doing the thing that you want to do in order to take advice from them. At least that's my biggest lessons learned and sage advice over decades of having coaches and mentors. my ex-husband and I hired a real estate coach and joined a real estate coaching program early on in our real estate days when we first started doing real estate. And come to find out, after paying them tens of thousands of dollars to teach us something, they had done it once, but they weren't doing it anymore. They had success with one strategy one time, and then basically built this giant coaching program around teaching other people how to do this thing, which we did learn from. We made a ton of money in it because we actually did what they taught us and then went way beyond that. But the vast majority of the people that were in the program never did anything because they were teaching a technology that needed to expand and grow, or ideas that needed to be expanded upon based on what they had actually done. They'd only done it once or a couple of times. They weren't continuing to do it. When you stop doing the thing that you're teaching, you are teaching old information. I would say the majority of the personal development industry is all teaching a little knockoff or version of the same thing. I'm going to make a lot of people mad, but when it comes to the funnel world, the vast majority of people in the funnel world that are coaching and doing things are just teaching things that they learned from Russell Brunson or one of the other marketing leaders, and they're just taking a piece off of that and embellishing it and selling it to people for thousands of dollars. Is that valuable? It depends if that's the next thing that you personally need or not. Have I done some of those programs? Absolutely. Has it been things that I've applied? Yes. I'm not going to do a coaching program if I'm not going to apply the things I learned. Learned that early on in my career. There's no point doing something, learning something, if you're not going to get something out of it and then figure out and at least test and play with it in your own life. If it works, you continue to do it. If it doesn't, you look for something else. You figure something else out, or you tweak it to make it your own, to make it work for your life. Long time I've done it. Have I been exposed to much more information than I've ever applied? Absolutely, because if I can get one thing out of a training or a program or a coaching program or a seminar or a webinar, and I just apply that one thing, then I consider that a success. Are there probably 99 other things in that I could have applied? Yes, but I don't expect myself to get everything out of it. I'm just, what's the next one thing that I can use and apply? So my question today is, who are you listening to? Have you investigated them? Do you know that they have the background and the successful track record in the thing that you want to learn from them? Again, I learned a long time ago that sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they put on pretty pictures and marketing information that looks like they're this awesome, super duper successful person, and you come to find out that what they really achieve based on the way they're marketing it is totally different. Even the offline guru that I am following, not a guru, the offline person that I'm following right now, made hundreds of millions of dollars. And he says, you know what, in like a short period of time. And nobody asks him, well, how much of that was profit? And that's sad, because he said he made $50 million deal in 1 year with the government. But he personally only made $90,000 off that deal. He didn't become a multimillionaire off of a $50 million deal. But the marketers and the people that are helping him to do online things now are marketing it that, ooh, $50 million in a year. Well, he did do a $50 million deal, but how much money did he make off that? It's just like online people are presenting, oh, I made a 10x award from ClickFunnels, or a 2 Comma Club award, made $1 million through a funnel from ClickFunnels, and they've got the big plaque in the background. Yet you'll come to find out that they don't even have a pot to piss in, because they spent $900,000 on advertising plus their overhead to deliver, and they ended up with like 10 grand out of that $1 million. That might be an extreme example, but there are some people that actually have those awards that don't have any profits. And so we have to be willing to ask more questions before we blindly follow other people. I guess that's my warning today. Because until you get burned, and then unfortunately some people will get burned one time and then they'll just shut themselves off and down, and they'll never do the thing they wanted to do because they got burned by one fake guru or less than expert that's training or teaching or coaching them something. So it's always been buyer beware in the world. It always has been, and that still continues to be true. We have to know what we're getting into, what we're buying. So that's my wondering and question for today. And then we have to know, what are we going to do with it? I learned in the online world, and I didn't have time to do this in the offline world or the corporate world, really. I didn't have time to just learn things for the sake of learning things, or learning things for the, okay, I might want to do this someday. I never had time to do that, so I didn't. But when I came online, I was dedicated to figuring out and learning how to do online business, how to do online marketing, online things, online stuff. I'm going to call it stuff, because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do online when I first jumped on. True of millions of other people as well, I'm sure. And so I got myself sucked into different rabbit holes that I probably could have saved my time and energy and money and resources on, meaning including my time and energy is the most important resource to me, on not doing those things because they weren't the right thing for me at the given time. Now, when I'm moving forward and picking trainings or picking what I'm going to listen to and who I'm going to listen to, one of my first questions is this what I need next? Is this the next thing I need to make progress toward what it is that I want? And if the answer is yes, then I do it. If the answer is no, I say, okay, I make a little note of it. This goes in the back of my mind for a while because it's not the right time. It doesn't mean it's a no forever. It's just, and I had a coach approach me the other day, a very noted online coach, and I was like, yep, I know you're there, but you are not the next step that I need in terms of what I'm doing with my overall businesses in life. You're not the next thing. You are maybe a step or two down the road of what I want, but not right now. You're not the next thing that I need. And that saved me a lot of energy by asking myself that question: what is the next thing I need, not the next 6 things I need? Because I can only do the next step, right? I can only learn about the next step and do the next step. And once I've done the next step, then the next logical step automatically appears. And by breaking things down like that, I found that life's a lot simpler, a lot less stressful, and a lot more fun as well. So working on that. Day 10 for the Get Up and Go Challenge, again, just briefly covered the SOAP framework and what it is, and then what we're going to do over the next 21 days for the 30 plus free day Get Up and Go Challenge, challenge number 7. For our 365-day challenge, to do one thing every day that centers me and you, the people participating, was about happiness, and that happiness is not an event. It's not a how. Happiness is a how, not a what, a talent, or an object. So many of us, and so often, we look outside of ourselves to be happy. Oh, if I only have this thing, then I'm going to be happy. If I only am in this relationship, then I'm going to be happy. And the truth is, happiness, like all feelings and emotions, is 100% generated from within us. It's up to us to decide, number 1, to define happiness. What makes us happy? We can decide that and change that definition anytime we want. Number 2, to choose to be happy, to choose happiness, to choose to feel happy. Even in the toughest of situations, we can always choose happiness, right? We can choose how we want to feel. So happiness comes from within is my biggie. Supersize Your Business. I shared 10 sayings from Zig Ziglar and sort of asked a similar question: who do you listen to? Who do you follow? Who are you getting advice from these days? Because I'm always on the lookout for new people that I might not have been exposed to before. There's 7.5 billion people on the planet. Most of them are probably smarter and wiser than me. So who do I want to learn from next? I'm always looking for that list of people. But I shared 10 Zig Ziglar quotes because I love Zig Ziglar, followed him for decades, and I was doing 100 days of Proverbs for the beginning of 2021, and today was day 100, yet I'd accidentally had a duplicate earlier in the year, and I didn't have an idiom for today. I didn't go look, and I didn't pick one out. Now, starting tomorrow, I'll do that again. I'll go back to another strategy for finding the idioms that I discussed, or I'll come up with something else that I want to do for my Supersize Your Business group. But I like doing it because it's kind of like doing an improv every day. Here's the topic, here's the idiom, here's what it means, here's where it came from. Now, how do I apply that to my business and my life? And for me, it's a great mental exercise, right? Because chances are, whether I've heard of the expression or not, other people that I interact with will have heard of it, and they'll have their own definition and interpretation of it. So I like to look at the different ways that people might be looking at it with respect to my business and my life. That is what I'm working on. I am going to do some more work with both of my mentors this year, both my coaching programs, and I'm going to hang out with my baby granddaughter today because her parents are going to go fishing. Without the COVID friend, but they're going to go fishing. So if I can help you in any way, ask in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow to let you know what I'm doing today and every day as I go from the offline brick and mortar world to the online world. And I would expect to see this year, I will stick my fingers in some offline as well as online endeavors, and the details of which I'll share as many as I can. But when it comes to a deal falling through or breaking apart, I'll be very vague about the entities involved and about the project itself, but I will share the project and what step we're on and what we're doing, because I'm learning a new 7-step process. Everybody's got a process, right? And I'm looking at that process and I'm saying, okay, proven process, proven for lots of people, so if they can do it, I can do it. But how do I do it and learn each step and make it my own? Because until I make it my own and practice it and actually do it, it doesn't mean anything. It's not going to give me any results. All right, have an awesome day. I will, of course, be with you tomorrow. Bye.